Roles by Jessica Karpinski. In any police department, there's priorities, assignments, deployments, and strengths within the department. Police captains like to study those crime trends and use information to adjust those items listed, such as the strengths, the deployments, priorities, and assignments. They also need to have a positive environment for the team, which also means positive relationships between the entire force and the citizens. Departments in the government also need to have that strong positive relationship in order for things to work effectively. Police department activities and the work performed needs to meet standards and also serve the need of the city to have the citizens getting their needs met and any crimes taken care of and handled in a timely manner. Also, police captains investigate and review any complaints that come in from civilians and also deal with the discipline issues within the department itself. A real-world scenario for the study of the crime trends and the information that is taken in would be that if there is criminal activity within a certain area, the police captain is going to make note of that and determine if they need to up patrol for the officers in certain areas. They'll also kind of note the times that these crimes are happening and occurring so they can get a better, judgment of where they need to up it and at what times most of these criminal activities are taking place. So a location needs to be set, more patrol needs to be advised, and assigning more officers to that patrol location. And make priorities a big thing. They need to have priorities set in place to be able to protect and serve and to make the places safe in those areas. A real-world scenario for directing activities would be to meet standards and direct those activities. Routine training is necessary to keep officers informed of any new laws, any new policies that were updated by the department. Weekly and biweekly reviews are very informational, not just for the police captain, but for the officer themselves, because they can kind of see where they need to improve on and where they're advancing and where they're completely improved on, and to kind of know what they need to change and work on. Ride-alongs are also nice. If a police captain can ride along with the officer, that can help because the police captain will know what he sees from the officer on duty, how he maintains his composure during, routine traffic stops. And then daily logs. Daily logs are good because then you can see what an officer is doing daily, where their time is most spent, how many calls a day come in for, different criminal activities. But the biggest thing is that our department needs to be fit to meet and protect our citizens. So if there is any issues within the department, that needs to be fixed. Retraining needs to be conducted so that way we can essentially serve and protect the citizens. A real-world scenario for reviewing and investigating would be to monitor complaints and issues and review, investigate these complaints and issues to find out what we can do to fix them. Police captains normally review citizen complaints and inside department complaints. In doing so, once they get those, they will also investigate and try to solve or come up with a solution to kind of put an ease on the complaints, or essentially to fix them. When our department's in line and we take action on any wrongdoing in our department, we are showing the citizens that we make sure that we have a fit fit inline department in order to properly serve our citizens and to meet their needs and protect them daily. A police lieutenant is a leader, and they have many leadership responsibilities. They really are the jack of all trades. They, perform administrative tasks when they're not in the field. They do things such as fingerprinting and maintaining arrests, and also the books. They need to make sure all evidence is properly recorded. They also will be there when the higher ranking officials are not there, such as the captains, colonels, and whatnot. They also have other responsibilities, such as planning work schedules, overseeing departmental cases, and processing and booking criminals. They also can assist with, any detective work that might be needed and conduct investigations, along with helping other officers that require any expertise. They also are part of a chain of command, so they kind of keep everybody together. They make sure that all the sergeants and the senior ranking officials are on the same page, which would lead us into their performance. They need to make sure that everybody is performing effectively within the force. So all officers, should have their reviews and to make sure that they are upholding the policies and the rules and regulations of the department. A lieutenant is a leader. So an example for this in the real world would be that a lieutenant has the supervision responsibility of all the precincts, especially when the higher up is not available, such as the captain and whatnot. There are many roles that the lieutenant needs to be responsible for. And some of those kind of include being responsible for work schedules, department cases, bookings and processing the criminals, detective work, internal investigations to help conduct those, and then officers if they have any situations that can require the expertise or seniority. Disciplinary action can be done by the lieutenant if an officer has become out of line or is not following proper protocol. Disciplinary action can take place by the lieutenant. So we need to make sure that officers are held accountable for all actions. A real world scenario for chain of command would be that a lieutenant is also responsible for hiring and training all new employees, which training is a must, especially staying up to date on training procedures, because it really gives the officers an insight to anything that has changed in policies and procedures or laws. And if anything has changed, such as not being able to use tasers, for example, maybe something like that, they need to be updated on that. And then they all need to stay on the same page. All officers, lieutenants, police chiefs, everybody needs to be on the same page. And the lieutenant kind of keeps them all on the same page, passes information along to keep everybody on the same page and to going strong. So keeping those policies and procedures in line are important. A real world scenario for performance in communities, there is so much there. A lieutenant has a wide variety of different tasks daily that she is responsible for, such as making sure that evidence is documented, identification is documented, confessions are taken in and documented, seizing weapons or drugs and taking testimonies, taking personal belongings from the convicted, and also documenting crime scenes and preserving the crime scene evidence. They need to make sure that they help maintain their credibility, their safety, and integrity in any police operations. So they essentially are a role model for police officers. But by doing all those tasks, they are working in turn to keep our streets safe and to try to reduce criminal activity. So officers really, I mean, they need to be needed in the areas where they're needed the most. They need to be there. They need to try to deter crime, and they need to try to reduce the criminal activity. Patrol officers have many tasks. They need to enforce the vehicle laws and regulations within the state highways. So they're on the major highways. Basically, they travel many hours through many towns. So they need to make sure that there's no speeding involved, there's no criminal activity. They still need to enforce just as much as a city officer, but they kind of have just that limit to where they need to be. But they can assist other officers within the state and local law enforcement if requested. So they are able to come off the highway in order to assist. They also need to be a decision maker. They are out there alone, so they need to be able to make those independent decisions in order to fully be able to enforce those laws and regulations. A real world example for our patrol officers are that most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, they are on major highways instead of the major roadways. So you will see them, say for example, here in Watertown, we've got Highway 212. Even though it runs through town, they are still able to pull somebody over and make any arrests on the state highways. They can also issue tickets and kind of go about just keeping those laws and regulations intact, and to help follow them on highways and the roadways, just to make sure that all laws and regulations are being followed by the citizens who are driving on those roads. Patrol officers, for a real-world scenario for assisting, can also assist at a state and local law enforcement level if they are requiring them to do so. If they need that assistance, they can assist them if called for. So they don't always have to just be stuck to highways, and they can assist in such things such as robbery, kidnappings, homicides, assaults, or any other incidents. Just to kind of keep things safe. And, they're always very tired. They drive many miles and drive through many different towns. So they've seen quite a few different things on their job. They drive in tremendous weather. So we all got to kind of show respect for those highway patrolmen. Patrolmen need to make decisions, and most of them need to be made in a quite quick fashion. They're on the road, they're by themselves, on these busy highways. So they need to be in good physical condition in order, if they have somebody that's running, they need to be able to run after them. They need to be able to be physically fit. If there's a crime scene on a highway, they need to be able to make a quick decision, and that independent judgment is needed